All right, everyone, today we're gonna tackle that huge elephant in the real estate room. What is going to happen in the real estate market in 2023? If you stick around to the end, I'm gonna tell you what my thoughts are personally here in Central Florida. That's coming up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt here with the Matt Allen Real Estate Team. Happy holidays. Feeling kind of festive today. I got my Christmas Mickey tie on, and we are going to talk about the big question I get. Oh, I can't even tell you how many times a day I get that question. What do I think is going to happen in the real estate market 2023, as well as what are some of the experts saying? We're going to dive right into it. There's a lot of information here. I'm going to read it off from my pad here as far as what some of the experts are saying, and then I'm going to give you my own take at the end. So let's get started with what we look at when we decide what we think the market's going to do. And keep in mind, nobody has that crystal ball. We don't know. In fact, last year was a good indicator, or this year, 2022, was a good indication that we were taking educated guesses on what was going to happen in the real estate market. As of now, it really hasn't played out other than interest rates have risen. You know, inventory is still very low. There are multiple offer situations still going on, but then there's other markets where, you know, houses are on the market 30 plus days. So it's a very interesting time here in the real estate realm. Let's start with our indicators. When we're looking at the real estate market, there's 5 key indicators that I typically look at and most experts look at. There are some indicators outside of the market as well. So I'm going to go through them one by one. Number 1 is interest rates. Now, interest rates, I'm going to explain in depth 3 ways we think it may go in 2023. We also look at inventory, how much inventory is on the market. That's a huge indication of how the market's doing. Number 3 is foreclosure rate. We want to look at how many houses are defaulting and going into foreclosure. Number 4 is home pricing. Are the prices going up? Are they going down? Are they staying the same? Is it changing from market to market? And the last thing is home sales. How many homes are actually closing? And again, that changes from market to market. So those are the 5 things within real estate we look at. There are a couple things we look at outside of the real estate market. We look at unemployment. How is that doing? Is it up or down? Inflation, that's the key word everybody's talking about these days. What is the inflation rate? What's happening in that market? And then we look at the federal fund rate. Is the interest rate, the federal fund interest rate, continuing to rise? Is it going down? Are the feds leaving it alone? Because that'll obviously affect interest rates in the mortgage market. So those are your key indicators. Let's talk about each one individually real quick. When it comes to interest rates, there's really 3 scenarios that most experts are looking at. Inflation stays the same, the feds keep hiking the interest rates, and the mortgage rates continue to rise and could rise as much as 8.5%. Again, educated guess, but that's one way it goes. We really hope it doesn't go that way. Number 2, consumer price index responds to these rate hikes, and there's an inflation deceleration, which means things are starting to stabilize, and that's where you're going to see the interest rate, the mortgage interest rates start to stabilize as well, and they're guessing right around that 7 to 7.5% range. The third thing that can happen is the feds keep raising the federal fund rate, and we fall into that bad R word, recession. If that happens, actually interest rates will come down considerably. But it's also has its pluses and minuses to it, but that's a video for another time. So those are the 3 scenarios that can happen in 2023 that we think is going to happen. All right, let's talk inventory, because most experts agree this is not going to play a factor in the real estate market of 2023, mainly because of one specific reason. The homeowner has a lot of equity in their house. So if they're in a situation where they're no longer able to afford to pay the mortgage rate, whether they have lost their job or the rate has become too high for them to afford, they still have that equity in the houses. House pricing has gone up. which allows them to sell their house either at a small profit or break even. The other thing is short sales. Short sales are almost non-existent. I checked this morning in our MLS, there's like not even barely double digits of short sales going on right now. So that's good news in the real estate market. I don't think we're going to see a huge flood of foreclosures in 2023. Are you staying with me on this one? I know it's a little long of a video. I'm going to combine the last two together, the home prices and the home sales. And unfortunately, nobody has a really good gauge on what is going to happen in 2023, and mainly because it's different from area to area. The New York market is very different than here in Central Florida, which is very different than California and Chicago and so on and so forth. Everybody's experiencing kind of something different. As far as home prices, I can tell you here in Central Florida, we're still seeing a little gradual increase in pricing, but then again, there's been some weeks where it's dropped. And then as far as home sales, same thing is happening here. So some months, or some weeks, we're actually seeing home sales going up, and then some weeks we see them going down. If you're looking at new construction, specifically here in Central Florida, I can tell you my phone rings constantly with incentive programs for buyers looking to buy new construction. That was non-existent during the summer. So you can obviously see home sales and new construction have definitely dropped off. Again, varies by area, but what you want to hear is coming up next, my prediction for 2023. Are you ready? Give me a drum roll, please. So what I see is going to happen is nothing really earth-shattering. I think what it's going to be mainly dependent on is what the inflation and what the Feds do with the interest rate and how that's going to affect the mortgage interest rate going forward. If we continually see inflation and if we get into that, I hate to say the R word, recession, I think we're going to see interest rates continue to climb, which is definitely going to slow down the market. What I'm hoping is going to happen is inflation de-escalates and there's a stabilization in the not only the Fed rate, but the mortgage interest rate. And I think people can live with the low 7s to 7.5, maybe dipping down in the 6 once in a while. I think that's gonna help bring more inventory to the market because people are gonna feel more comfortable about putting their house on the market for sale and looking for something else. I think that'll allow first-time home buyers to jump in and say, all right, prices are starting to come down a little bit. And again, we don't know how far they're going to come down, but my suspicion is they're going to either slightly come down, and that's based on the fact that pricing was so outrageous. I think people are coming back into the realm of reality as far as what their value of their house is in the current market. So all in all, I think it's going to be a fairly steady market. I don't think you're going to see any crashes. I think one of the main factors is going to be that interest rate. I hope this was helpful, you guys. If you have any predictions of what you think the market's going to do, drop them down below. I'd love to hear it. Or if you think I'm way off, please tell me. I'd love to discuss and get other opinions. Thanks again. If you're new to the station, please hit that like, subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next video. Happy holidays. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.